You already know what it is, man. It's C3 the Wave Maker, man. I'm here today with actually a very special guest and a personal friend of mine, somebody I respect a lot. Been following him for a while. Very knowledgeable when it comes to the stock market, all kind of things like that. Sorry, y'all. I'm just finishing up like a little working out. You know how it is. Anyway, we're gonna go ahead and get this thing going. This is StockMarket J. He's here to give us a special episode of Lifestyle Libraries podcast, y'all. So we're gonna get to hear what it's like a day in the life of StockMarket J, becoming StockMarket J, and how he became StockMarket J. So if you want to go ahead and just introduce yourself, tell the people where they can find you and what you got going on while I get dressed. Sorry, y'all.
Yes, sir. What's going on? This is Pimp on StockMarket J. Here to say today, I always bring you news you can really use. And of course, I'm a published author. You can find my book, Beginner's Guide to Stock Market Investments, on Amazon. Of course, I've created other books that I've published and, of course, sell independently of a platform like Amazon just because I want to split. I am an investor, I am an educator, I am a community leader and activist. Of course, one of my biggest goals is change, social change, and how we contribute to being a part of that. It's going to be one of my biggest philosophies. I want to ensure that, of course, I am not only a beacon of light, but I am a curator of the change. I'm a solution to the problems that exist in our community today. And of course, I believe that financial education, financial literacy, and of course, who you become is a great way to be able to give back. So that's a little insight to me. I've been investing since 2021. I actually started investing kind of on a whim. I had a buddy that was telling me about goals and going to the roads, we were going to make some money. And of course, after that, I was like, okay, let me put some money in and see how it goes, see where it goes. I invested some money in it. I started watching the movements of it, and I'm not a crypto investor by far. I do hold Bitcoin long term, but I was like, investing, I'm putting money in, I'm watching it go. I'm pulling money out, and then I'm watching it go down, throw some money back in, I was just rinsing and repeating. And then of course, once it had that big route, it kind of bottomed out. Of course, I left it alone. And I was thinking about what should I do with the money? I put it into some just random stocks. I don't even remember what they are. The stocks and random stocks along the way. And then of course after that, I ended up earning a dividend like a month later. Just totally out of the blue, right? And of course, I was like, wow, if I can make $1, $2, $3 from not even knowing what I'm doing, just randomly buying stocks. Imagine what I could do if I actually learned how to play the game. And of course, that's how I started investing. Just totally on a whim, just kind of chasing some games, getting into a game that I had no idea. I knew nothing about. Just somebody told me, hey, go for the moon. And I decided to educate myself, stay on not even the performance, but just the result that I got, which was just that $3 in dividends from owning two stocks. So that kind of was the springboard to get me to where I am now. And of course, I started investing to educate myself as I was doing that. Of course, I'm a naturalist. I love to teach. So if anyone that was like following me through my journey from when I became conscious, just kind of unlocked my mind. I just opened. I started learning about credit. I started learning about business. I started learning about money and investing and just these different aspects, areas right that aren't taught to us in my community. And then of course, every time I learned something, I would catch myself teaching people. So I said, man, I might need to. I went to a seminar. I'm real big on personal development, and of course, I don't mind paying to develop personally, right? I don't mind spending some money or spending my time. You have to pay something, whether it's attention, whether it's money, energy, whatever they pay me. You have to pay something in order to get something, especially if you want to get something that is substance or any real benefit to you. So I go to a Tony Robbins seminar, and of course, like I said, I've always been an educator, and I was like, man, there's a guy named JT Fox, I believe is his name. I can't remember if that's what it is 100%. I believe it is though. And of course, he talks about brain leaps and of course creating content. And I ended up tying his and another person's Phil Townsend's seminar. He sold a seminar independently up there as well. I spent like $600 while there. I paid a brand there. Of course, I spent the $600 while there. And I started making content that same day. They were just talking about, becoming an authority in the space, how to get a best-selling book, how to make content, and build a platform. And I bought a whiteboard that same day, and I got it set up, and I just got into it. I did I just jumped right in, and of course, here I am today.
Yeah, definitely recommend everybody get a whiteboard. I've got them everywhere. I got big ones here, other ones there. Like I got them all over the place. They're out of sight, out of mind, man. So like if it's, because I mean I try to kind of be very creative and open. I know you do too, obviously. And so I might have like an idea that I think's like really brilliant, but if I don't like put that down somewhere, it's gonna get lost with all these other ideas. So I got boards everywhere.
I know what you mean, brother. I'm saying if I get an idea or a thought to do anything, I typically put alarms in my phone or notes in my phone so I can, go back and call it. Or when that alarm goes off, like, hey, do this. Because I'm doing so much.
That's a great idea.
You only have so much bandwidth. And I'm consuming a lot of information. I'm a studier. Right? I've always loved to study and consume, information and gain knowledge.
Eric gave me the actual term for that. I didn't know it, but it's an epistemologist.
Okay.
It's like a seeker of knowledge. So it's someone who just, strives for knowledge. It doesn't have to be specific. Like, you're like you said, you're a studier. Well, apparently that is epistemology.
Yeah.
I never knew that. I never heard that word.
Because right now I'm actually studying time, space, and gravity, and how interconnected it is, and how time is relative, past, present, and future, based on space and time itself.
Yes, and that goes it's so cool.
I love it, man. I love the universe and the celestial plane.
Hey, when we get off of here, I'm gonna send you some of my Dropbox files. I've got the Hearth book. It's amazing. It's got all that in it. But I've got a lot of stuff on quantum mechanics and quantum physics. That stuff gets trippy, man. It's amazing. Especially when you start getting into like the string theory and the quantum entanglement. That stuff gets wild, bro. Because it basically says that like consciousness has a direct involvement in the universe. Like, so that goes right along with the energy and the frequencies that you were speaking on a second ago. They technically classify it as observation, and by their rules, observation means something that can be measured, right?
Mm-hmm.
But that still would involve some consciousness to be there to measure it, right? Like, so at the end of the day, it all boils down to like your conscience having a say. I really believe that you can completely control your reality, just depending on your subconscious and the thoughts that you turn into action.
Well, I'm gonna tell you something, bro. You're 100% right. We are creators of our own reality. I mean, the universe is mental, it's intellectual, it's consciousness in itself. And the beautiful thing about it is we are the God power that's within us. We are creators by nature, or that what we're recording on Zoom, right? Or cell phone or laptop. Where did it come from? It came from someone's mind. Someone had to mentally create it, and then of course manifest it through their physical actions, right? So of course, everything that we use today, it came from some place. It came from a thought substance, right? It came from the ether. It came from somewhere, you
Yeah,
know, within
it
your
came from a
psyche, in your
thought that
awareness,
was
right? That
on
awareness
top
is
of a
all up
thought.
here, and you expand that awareness. Then you have the ability to create certain things. And here's the thing that people don't understand: everyone is self-made. It's just only the rich will admit it, right? If
Exactly.
you're broke, then it's due to your own making.
It
If
is your
you're
fault.
well off, it's due to your own making. Where you are in life is because of you. It's because of your mindset. It's because of your habits. It's because of your disciplines. It's your ability to be consistent and/or inconsistent. You are the maker of your life and the driver of your life. You're the author of your own story. And if you don't like where you're at in the current book you're in, then you have the ability to change what you see, right? When you change the way you
Rewrite the
think,
story.
yeah, there you go. When you change the way you think, bro, you change what you see, right? When what you put into your mind changes, the things that you see change. And that's for me personally. I used to, behave in a certain manner, and I was getting a certain result. And then when I switched and transitioned, because of course I'm from Dallas. And of course, if you're familiar with the
Yeah.
new Dallas things and
Dallas.
everything that's going on in the rap world, Trap Boy Freddy and the like, I'm from Oak Cliff.
Yeah, Dallas
Um,
it gets lit down there.
oh, it does.
It
And
does
where
all the
I
way.
grew up
Yeah.
at, they actually made a couple of movies out of the high school I went to, Carter High. They made a movie
Yeah.
called Carter High.
No way.
They did on Friday Night Lights. They was at the end of the school. That wrote the score. That was at the end. And they had the players that had to give back the state championship. They had a bunch of players go to jail for aggravated robbery, things like that. That's where I come from. Um, I went to prison. I was actually one of those guys that lived the street life. I don't just have these tattoos, gold teeth, and battle scars for no reason. I was actually out there. I was actually active. I actually have a name, and I'm quite known where I'm from for different reasons. Of course, now I'm known as a community leader, as an activist, as someone who gives back to the schools and donates, whether it's books, bikes, clothes, shoes, time, whatever I can, right, to the community where I come from. And I used to be a part of destroying, and now I'm a part of the solution. And I don't glorify anything I did, from being gang to, cliques and things like that, because I was actually doing that from hustling to everything. Like I was hustling in high school. I was one of those people that was, like I said, just quite known. But when you don't know any better, you don't do any better. I didn't have the thought process. I didn't have, I was fascinated with the guys that I've seen growing up around me, right? I have been in neighborhoods where it's real tight knit, where it's like, you have to be put down in order to be associated with the neighborhood. You got to know your knowledge. You got to have your street knowledge. You got to be, you have to. It was like a programming over there where I'm from. So everyone, even the females, talk the same. Like the people that's across the street from us, we'd be like, okay, the guy from across the light or the guy across the street. Everybody has the same terminology or same tattoos. It was like ingrained and programming me, from that standpoint. There was a lot of violence and things of that nature. I won't go into details, but I come from a place where it gets ugly, and I've seen the more beautiful side of that as well. So when I went to prison, that was probably the worst time of my life, but it was also the best time because it was needed, it was necessary. It was needed in order for me to wake up. Because at first I was in and out of jail. Um, of course, hustling and stuff like that. 2 months here, 3 months there, things like that. And of course, I go do 2 years, do a little bit of time on parole, and then it's like, okay, this isn't what's up. Like I like to be out here being a free person. I like to, be with my kids and not watching them grow up. And I know for a fact, because I've always been smart, I've always been brilliant. I just didn't know how to direct that energy. So I knew that being in there wasn't for me because, of course, I can't be out here to make sure that my kids are getting the guidance that they need and to ensure that that I'm able to become who I'm meant to become. Because I knew that being in there, it was lame. Like, what I'm saying? The people that were in there were lame. And I know that we would never be around each other or associate with each other if it weren't for me being in that situation that I was in. So in order to ensure that I was never in a circumstance like that around those people that I do consider lame, and that I know aren't cut from the same cloth as me, I had to do something different. So of course, what I did is I actually and I didn't even become conscious right after I got out, but consciousness found me. And when I was around 28 or 29, and of course, when it did, what ended up happening is um, I learned about credit. I didn't know about credit. They don't teach you credit where I come from, right? Financial literacy, financial education, and credit is a part of that. I didn't learn that until, like I said, about 28 to 29 years old. I'm 35 now. And I read a book called Rich Dad Poor Dad. And that book changed my life. At first, I thought reading was for nerds. I thought it was just lame, easy thing to do. Of course, I read in jail, like nonfiction books or fiction, whichever one is the fake ones or whatever. And I was like, just passing time, just passing through, right? And then, of course, I read that book, opened my mind to becoming to building wealth, right? How to wealthy use debt to build wealth and create empires and scalability, and then of course financial education being the root of all that. And then my life just completely changed, man. Like I said, it changed the way you look at things. The things you look at change, and I'm a true believer in that. And like I said, that's why now I give back the way I do. That's why I focus on personal development the way I do as well.
That's always great, man, to hear that. That's inspiring, because a lot of people, I myself, did the exact same thing. Grew up in the exact same type of neighborhoods. When you're young, growing up in the hood, you don't have very many role models. Like you said, they didn't teach you credit. Wasn't nobody out there teaching us, compound investments. And if they were teaching us any type of compounding, it was just re-upping. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's all it was. But you know what? I believe that all of that was what gave me the edge in finance. Do you think your hustling days and the life in the streets prepared you in some ways for?
Yeah, and I'm not glorifying this by any stretch or means. It's just what shaped me. So one, you learn social skills, especially where I'm coming from. You learn to decipher what's going on, right? Who's who, what's what, and what's about to happen. Because if you can't identify certain things, it can be a whole, maybe let's say shootout or a whole
But it
fist
could be
fight
life
or
or
a
death.
whole anything else going on, and you weren't aware to be able to pick up on it, right? Or you had certain people that were, like I said, just being a hustler, of course, dealing with different people. You get certain sales skills. You learn how to talk. You learn how to communicate. You learn how to differentiate yourself from other people, and then, of course, you have to be wise because if you're not, you will get screwed over. And of course, I was one of them people. Like I never became a millionaire, but I did get rich. And of course, I kind of had my little side of town locked up. If anyone had something that came through me, and one thing that I always knew was if I didn't spend any of my money and I put it all back into my product, I can get more and essentially make more money, which is just reinvesting those products. I mean, the
Oh yeah,
products,
that's
right? So
compound
you're
interest right there.
essentially retaining your earnings at that point, right? So essentially, what you're doing is you have, you earn your revenue, then you have your net income, you have your profits, right? What's left over after you pay your expenses. And if you take that and reinvest it back into it, you can grow your business. And that's what people do to grow their businesses now. And that's actually how you avoid taxes because you pay taxes on the profits you make. But if you don't have any profits to show for it because you reinvested it back into the business, that's the cheat code, then of course you
Yeah,
don't pay
that's the
taxes.
cheat
But yeah,
code.
that's
We
actually,
don't want to realize the gain.
yeah,
We
yeah.
do
So
not want to realize the gain.
it actually shaped me, man. Like I said, just learning those social skills, and it helps me. I'm in the sales industry now. I work a regular job. I'm a regular person. I'm in the sales industry, and of course, those social skills that I learned, the ability to learn how to talk or finesse where I come from, because if you weren't finessing, you were getting finessed, and of course, you have to be able
Right?
to stand on your own 2 feet. And of course, I learned how to build a business essentially, just by asking people if they needed what I had,
Solving a
packaging it,
problem.
branding it, and of course learning that money management. Because if you fumble the ball, if you fumble the bag, you fumble the money, you got to be able to get back on. So of course
Yes.
you learn to save, you learn to be frugal and or go without. At least if you want to be successful, that's what I learned because I've seen a lot of
Yeah.
people that didn't get to where I got to. And I actually had a guy from my street, a guy I look up to, and he seen me like doing my thing. He was like, "Hey, where you at right now? You either gonna go all in and become something else, or you're gonna likely have to put this down and make sure it's good for your kids." And of course, I chose the latter. Of course, jail was a big influencer of that, but of course everything worked out
Change
in
your
my
mind though.
favor at the end of the day. But yeah, being in the streets, it helped me like personally because I had a buddy who was like, man, working a job helped him learn certain skills. Well, being in the streets helped me learn leadership because of course being in the clique or in the gang or whatever, you have certain hierarchies. Everyone wanted to be that guy. And of course, in order to do that, you had to be able to move up. And of course, you had to be a leader of people and influencer of people to get people to move for you because we had a younger group of people under us that were like, I wouldn't call them toy soldiers, but they were definitely willing to do whatever we said at any given time just because of who we were. So having the leadership capabilities, having those social skills, and of course, ultimately learning how to manage funds and create a business is what I did with what I learned in the streets.
You know what? That's exactly how I did it too. I took
Yeah, yeah,
everything. I took everything from that part of my life, and I just related it to business. And this really, let's just go ahead and say it. Most of you guys know how to do everything that you need to be able to do to run a business. You do it every day. You do some form of investing or budgeting. You market. You tell people about your new iPhone. You tell people about the new car. That's marketing. That is marketing in a very simple way. Like it's just attention. After you have your business plan or your investment model, and you've done your due diligence, you know it works. It's nothing but a marketing problem after that. If you're really either solving a problem, if your business is actually a good idea and it actually solves a problem or has a purpose, then it's literally just marketing, getting enough attention, and that's it.
yep.
That's it. And believing in it. You gotta believe, man. That energy and mindset is hands down the key. That's the difference. That is the difference between someone who, like, two people can go through the exact same situation. One person can be traumatized and broken for the rest of their life, and the other person could literally use that same instance to build all the motivation that they would ever need to never go through that again and become a super successful person that helps the whole world.
That's very true, bro. And that's actually how, like, in what shaped me at a point. I got down to my like last push, man, and I was like, nah, I never want to be here again. And I started just learning the discipline to make sure that I never put myself in that position to go with that essentially. And that belief is real key, man, because a lot of people need permission to be excellent. Whereas you have the self-starters, you have the outliers, you have the innovators. They're the ones, the early adapters. They're the ones that move the needle and change the landscape of how certain things are done. And it just comes from that belief. That's what drives you to do what you do.
That's
By
it.
having that belief that it's going to work out no matter what. Like you don't have to have the perfect circumstance. That's why I said when I started creating content, I wasn't like, okay, I need to get me a tripod, I need to get me a dry erase board, I need to get me a laptop, I need to learn how to edit, I need to do this, I need to do that.
I
Didn't do
started
any
right
of
where
that.
I was and just got all that along the way.
Bro, because they say that when you work towards your goals work towards you, right? It's just energy, it's just
Exactly.
momentum. You know what I'm saying? But you
Exactly.
have to once you put it's just cause and effect and
It
sowing and
is, and you
reaping
know what?
essentially is what
This
it
is
is.
actual. This isn't just us like with some holistic bullshit. This is actual. It's backed up by neuroscience. So there was a neuroscientist. He did an experiment, and he was able to prove that like focused thought for 17 seconds starts to attract like frequency.
Mm-hmm.
After I believe it was 68 seconds, it manifests in reality. So if you are thinking about something for 17 seconds or more, you're going to start to attract vibrations, energies, feelings, situations, circumstances of like frequency.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're sitting there all day long thinking, this sucks, man, I don't have enough money, how am I going to do it? Like, that's exactly what you're going to attract. That's exactly what you're going to get is a life of hardship, not knowing when you can pay these bills. Like, say we run out of gas, right? One person is going to say, oh shit, I'm out of gas. I can't get to work. I don't know how I'm gonna make it to work. The other person can say, damn, we're out of gas. How can I get some gas to make it to work? Same situation, but totally different fucking outcomes and ways of looking at it. One person says, damn, I'm out of gas. It sucks. I can't make it. The other is, how can I get some gas to make it to
You
work?
know what? I'm glad you said that, bro, because the difference between those two philosophies is one that said, "Damn, I'm not gonna be able to do this." You're turning off your brain and allowing yourself to essentially live in that instance that you're in. Where the other one says, "How can I?" You're formulating the question, you're formulating the question, and you're having to think about how you work yourself out of that. A lot of people, the problem with the man today is they simply don't think.
They don't
And
think.
the thing about it is they mistake mental activity for thought. But there's
Damn,
not,
you hit
of
it
course, you
there.
have mental activity going on. You're alive. You have a brain, and it's firing off constantly at all times. Now, the difference between thinking and thought and postulating, formulated, ideas is the creative mind, the creative side of man. Because of course you have your conscious mind, your subconscious mind, your superconscious mind, and of course these different aspects create us, right? Our personality. And a lot of people are only outer directed people. So they don't see they don't understand the higher side of themselves. So they don't understand attraction, right? They don't understand cause and effect, inputs, outputs, sowing and reaping essentially is what it is. What you put in is what you get out. And a lot of people don't understand. That's why the way that I live my life, one, I prioritize studying. My morning routine is, of course, solely just going to be me. I listen to a guy named Reverend Ike in the morning time. That's how I feed my spiritual side of myself. And of course, I have different audios and things that I listen to feed that side of me. And then, of course, I work out, right? In the morning time, that's when I'm my best self. That's when my energy is the highest, my mental capacity is the highest. That's when I get my best work done. Get in there, give me a great workout in. Of course, because the physical, we operate in the physical body. Bob Proctor he once was quoted as saying, "You are a spirit, you have an intellect, and you occupy a physical body." So mind, body, spirit, right? So of course, I'm always feeding my mind the right things. I'm always digesting the right types of information that cause me to grow and become better, because that's the name of the game, right? Personal development. Who do you become? Who we become is our gift to God. It's our greatest gift to God. So personal development, and of course, working on my body, right? Because of course, I tell anyone, my kids, this as a man, we're not sedentary creatures. This is people as a whole. We're not sedentary creatures. We're not meant to just sit like a stump on a log. You have to move your body to get it moving, especially if you want to have optimal health throughout the later years of your life.
And you
And then,
have
of
to
course,
push it past where. I hate it when people say, "Oh, well, I don't have to work out." Like, my job, my job's pretty physical. I'm like, dude, shut up. Like, shut up. Like, it's not that physical. I've worked like roofing jobs. I worked in an industrial tire factory for like 3 years. It sucked. It was hot and miserable. It was burned all the time and like heavy. Like, everything was heavy and hot. It sucked. So I mean, like, and I still left there and went to the gym because you have to push your body past its limits if you want growth. Right? Now you can get to a point where you get your body in an anabolic state, you're eating the right shit. Like he said, you've got to feed the body the right stuff first. And honestly, feed it less, because you overeat way too much. Like, the first thing, it's like, I think it's like 3 hours out of your day is just spent with thinking about and eating breakfast and lunch. It's like 3 hours out of every day. So that's, people say they don't have enough time or money. That's always their excuse, right? Like, why they haven't started investing or started their business or, done anything. It's like that. Well, when I get some extra money, I will. There's no such thing as extra money. You're never going to save extra money like working and trading time for energy. Time for money. It's not going to happen. Or time. So what I always do is for 3 days, I make them go and time block their entire day. Like, and if they're really being difficult, like, I'll make them do every 15 minutes. Like, no, what did you do 15 minutes, the next 15 minutes? And like after like the first day, there's no way they can give you that time excuse anymore. For one, we've got the same 24 hours in a day.
Yep.
So if I can get it done, you can get it done.
Yep.
Right? And people just overlook how much time they waste. How much time is spent being distracted. How much time is spent not furthering themselves or their purpose at all. And that's why you're not getting anywhere.
Bro, I'll tell you this, because I work 70 hours a week. So in the midst of working 70 hours, and I did the math, you only have about 150 some hours a week. So in the midst of that, of course, I still have to sleep, and that occupies about a third of the time already. You don't have 24 hours. So you get 8 hours at work, and I take that to the max. So I work about 12 to 14 hours a day. You get 8 hours of sleep. Of course, I'm operating on about 6. And then the other 8 hours is what makes you rich, right? That's what changes your life. That's what, because you have a time frame where if you're building yourself up mentally, physically, emotionally, and don't forget the money financially, and of course, that's where life change happens at. So you can spend your time studying. You can make time to work out. People are like, oh, I got the kids, I got this. They make a million excuses. Man, what's stopping you from doing squats right now? What's stopping you from dropping to the floor doing some push-ups right now? What's stopping you from running in place right now? Well, it's willingness versus ability at that point. You're unwilling. You have the ability to do it. There's nothing stopping you. You're just making those excuses because you don't aim to truly be better. Like you can ask people if they want to be rich. The answer will likely be yes.
Every time.
There's false advertising because you ask them what they're doing to become rich, they draw a blank, right? They're just saying that because it's the right thing to say, but they're not. Their actions don't back it up.
They don't even really understand what it means. Like they don't really understand what wealthy means. Like wealthy is not like an amount. It's not a number. It's not a particular asset. It's a state of mind.
Abundance, bro.
It's a state of mind of abundance. It's the confidence in your ability and in yourself to know that whatever I choose to accomplish in life, it's already done.
Mm-hmm.
If you wake up every day and consistently work toward your goal, it is impossible for you not to make it.
Right.
Every time you do something, you get better. It's just that it's a fact. That's how it works. So if you get up today and do it and you suck at it, get up tomorrow and do it again. You'll suck a little less.
A little less, yeah.
The third day, you might not even suck. By the fourth and fifth day, you're getting fucking pretty good, man. You know, now 5 years down the road, you're literally the master and you've got subjects that you're teaching.
Mm-hmm.
If you wake up every day and do it.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, like I said, me and him both told you where we came from. We came from the worst place you could probably come from. We had the worst role models on the planet. My mother was a drug addict, my uncle was the plug, and I don't even know who my daddy was. You know what I'm saying? So that was my life, you know, so of course I idolized the one that had the money. And where I'm from, the only ones that had the money was the dope boys.
Yep.
The ones that was out there on the block hustling, you know, they the ones that had all the money. Everybody else was either working their life away to barely survive, and most of them were alcoholics and drug addicts because, you know, drug abuse starts with unhappiness, you know, most of the time. There's root causes. So I didn't want to be that. I didn't want to be some sad, depressed, survivalist, mentality-based, you know, junkie. And I thought that I wanted to be the plug, but prison tends to change your thoughts.
It does change the way you move,
I
bro.
completely agree with you. I mean, it sucks. Prison sucks, y'all. The worst day, like the best day in there is still like sucks compared to the worst day out here. But I do not regret it at all. I don't regret it at all.
It's a necessary evil, essentially, to that degree. It shapes you, man. It will
up until that point, I thought I had to have those things. You know, I had to have this much money and hang out with these people, and I had to carry a gun, and I had to have a chain, and I had to wear these certain Air Force Ones, and I thought that money was how I provided and took care of and was good to my family, right? And man, it's crazy when you get all that money taken. Like by 24 years old, I had everything that people want. You know, they want the house and the car and the, you know, freedom to do whatever. That by 24, I had a house in Decatur paid for completely. I had a Lexus IS 300. I had 2 bikes and 4-wheeler and a boat. Like, I was done. 24 years old. And then in the blink of an eye, I lost it all. I literally went from thinking I'll never have to worry about money or problems or any type of these, you know, and I never really did up until that point. But when you go from nothing to having something, it's like you really don't appreciate it until you realize what it's like to have nothing again and how fast it can be taken away. And then that's what made me actually start paying attention. Because I'll be honest, I didn't save none of my street money.
No,
None of it.
Spend it fast.
Man, I blew it as fast as I could get it. Sometimes I spend next week's cash. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I did want to go back to something, bro. You talked about, you touched on eating. That is a big thing for me because, of course, I live a healthy lifestyle, bro. And I understand what you put into your body is it's fuel and it's meant to give you life, right? You eat specifically to live because we're warm-blooded creatures. We consume calories and energy, so you have to eat in order to live. If you don't eat, you'll starve to death. You don't live to eat, right? So people don't understand because you did hit the nail on the head, bro. And this is something near and dear to me because a lot of people that I went to school with, they are overweight now. They are like, they look bad, they look old. Like my skin is always glowing. I'm always hydrated. Right now, I'm on a fast. Anytime I podcast, so I fast once a week. Well, I fast every day, intermediate fasting. So
Me too.
I fast between 18 and 20 hours every day, regardless of the circumstance. And right now, I'm at 24 hours. And by the time I break my fast tomorrow, I'll be between 40 and 42 hours. I make sure before I podcast, anytime I'm completely empty. It puts your brain in a different state.
Yes, your body is anabolic, your mind is positive.
And your body changes as well when you aren't overeating, because at that point, people, when they eat, they become sluggish, so they're always
because your body's burning
your body is
digest the food,
breaking down food. It's literally spending energy that you could be spending on anything else. Your body is having to use that time to break down food. You have so much in there that you literally don't need that much on a daily basis, right? You get away with eating once. I eat once a day.
Me too.
Of course, when I break my fast, I eat once a day. And of course, I'm a vegetarian as well. So, you know, I have, I eat raw foods, mostly life-giving foods. And then, of course, like I said, I only do it once a day. So, I'm always at my edge. I'm always at my peak because it puts you in a state of, survival. Like your brain is operating at maximum capacity because it's not getting bogged down.
Right. Fat is an evolutionary thing. It was for when we used to hunt and gather, and like it was wintertime and we wouldn't gonna be able to catch food today. So we would put on fat as a battery to store energy in between. That's it. But when you put more fat on than is needed, your brain literally kind of feels like, you know what, we're all right. We're pretty good. Like, we don't really, so your brain is going to automatically seek the path of least resistance. It's going to try to find the easiest, most comfortable, feel-good way it can to do something, right? And that's where you all get fucked over, man, because you let it. You have got to get uncomfortable. You got to get uncomfortable sometimes.
And your success begins where your comfort zone ends. I heard Steve Harvey say that one time. That's how birds learn how to fly. They literally get pushed out the nest. But people, they love comfort so much. People love leisure. They love comfort, right? But if you learn to love to labor, meaning working, and you love to learn, or you apply, and you are always in a state of doing, you'll never live in lack. Essentially, just because you're always learning new things and implementing them, and you don't mind working. Right? No one says hard work makes you rich, but you got people that don't work that often. Right?
That's crazy. Yeah, people work their ass off and never get rich.
Yeah. But of course, you have to. But being people that are rich though, they're typically the hardest working people out of the bunch. Like Warren Buffett,
And the smartest.
he's about to retire. Warren Buffett is retiring today. It's his last day running Berkshire Hathaway, which he's been
Wait
running
a
for over
minute. He
60
announced
years.
officially?
Yes, it's his last day. He's stepping down. He's
Oh
still going to
my
be on the
God,
board and
dude.
everything like
Wow.
that. But today is his last day.
That's why he pulled all that money out of Apple then, huh?
Well, he already has a decent net worth. He's gonna
Yeah,
give most
I
everything
think
away
last
anyway.
year he pulled like 274 billion in liquid cash. I don't know what he's got going
Well,
on.
he's sitting on Berkshire is sitting on almost 400 billion in cash.
Yeah,
Berkshire,
I'm wondering. They
Warren
got a big
Buffett.
move coming with that. I'm trying to figure it out myself.
Well, I know the move. Well, I don't know the move that they're making, but I do know that anytime Warren Buffett or Berkshire Hathaway is sitting on cash, it's because they believe that a
Quick,
downturn is looming.
fast.
So that means that they're getting prepared to be greedy when other people are fearful. And that's actually one of my investing philosophies, which is understanding that, hey, sometimes the markets take massive and drastic downturns. And when they
On
do,
purpose.
you want to be able to capitalize on them because that's where new millionaires and billionaires are created. That's how Warren Buffett has such an amazing return in Berkshire Hathaway over the course of the last 50 to 60 years is because during them downturns, those are just buying opportunities, right? Sometimes
Exactly.
a stock goes down because fundamentally the business isn't sound and the stock's price was detached from its fundamentals. And sometimes a business stock goes down irrationally just because of markets and market conditions and economic conditions, and people are scared. And then, of course, so you got to understand, is this a buying opportunity? Should I sell because this company isn't as valuable as I thought it was? Or did I just buy in at a high and, I just need to average down because I just didn't have a good entry, right? So anytime that you have, that he has that much cash, of course, it's typically for a reason. And he's been hoarding cash for a while. And I believe
Yeah.
it's because of a market downturn that might be imminent in 2026. I think either the market will be flat or it'll go down. But either way, we should be buyers of
Yes.
whatever asset class that we like
Buy and
to
just
invest
wait,
in.
man, which is something you guys don't like to do. But it's patience, man, consistency and patience. You know,
Mm-hmm.
George Soros, he told he this was like when he was still coming up. He was a nobody at the time, but he told his wife that he was taking the car, the house, and the engagement ring, and he was selling it all, and he was making this trade, and she said no, so he left her and broke the Bank of England.
Mm-hmm.
That's a true story. That's how convicted. That's the conviction you have to have in yourself. You have to literally feel it and know it, and of course don't just like feel. Don't just be feeling yourself. Do some due diligence and actually
Yes.
understand, because that's the only way you can really be confident. And I think a lot of people, they say, oh, Bitcoin's a scam, crypto's a scam, oh, investing's a scam. It's like, I guarantee probably 75% of those people, they didn't get scammed. You just did not know what the hell you were doing.
There you go.
You didn't read anything. You didn't do any due diligence. You didn't understand how that particular market or asset even worked. You just saw somebody that posted something where they made a huge percent in 2 days, and you threw some money at it.
Yep.
And then you went telling everybody it was a scam.
Yep. That's it, man. If you want to learn if you want to win the game, you better learn how to play, man. And a lot of people, they don't do their due diligence, like you said, and they don't. And when you jump into something without knowing what you're doing, man, it's a good chance you're gonna lose at it, right? Like no one jumps into a pool without knowing how to swim first,
Right.
at least unsupervised. If you're smart, you want to make it out alive. And the problem with a lot of people is, bro, they're just chasing those dreams and they want to get rich quick. So essentially, they want something that they haven't earned. And when that happens, you end up holding the bag. And of course, because you got to think about the markets, the equity markets, capital markets, crypto markets, whatever markets are just a place where the patient come to take money from the impatient, right? The
Yeah.
people who don't know what's going on, they call it dumb money. The people that the numbers come in, they buy stuff at a high, they get scared, nervous, and sell. They don't know what's going on when it goes down. And then, of course, someone that is educated and an intelligent investor, they come in and scoop up those shares that are low, and they always make a profit, right?
Yes.
So
As a matter of fact, buying them at that low dip is actually raising the price of that asset as you buy it. So literally, when it drops and tanks, just buying into it at that point is gonna make it go up already. And then, like you said, that downturn always in an upturn, man. It's a game. It's a game, and you got to know the rules.
And here's the thing: games are won and lost by players.
Yes.
And if you have players in a game, that means that that game can easily be manipulated. And that's all the capital markets are, bro. Because
That's
when you
it.
have big moves, big sellers, big buyers, prices go up, they go down. When you have news outlets reporting information, whether it be good, bad, and different, whether it's factual or not, prices are driven up and down because, of course, the marketplace is buy, sell, barter, and people are the ones buying and selling. And when those irrational minded people start buying and selling assets, that's where price fluctuation comes from, right?
Right.
Prices are going to fluctuate daily. Now, what I do is I just ensure that I have a long-term approach. I don't get
Yes.
bothered by daily price fluctuations because, of course, I know that I bought a wonderful business at a fair price or a wonderful asset at a fair price. And, of course, I'm always holding for the long term. Silver, for instance, I've been stacking silver since it was around $28. Now it's pushing up 80. If it hasn't even it came back down to 70, but now it's
Now let
pushing.
me ask you: would you sell it right now?
No, no, sir, no,
That
sir.
right there, that's the key right
I'm
there.
still buying it. I
That's the
dollar
key.
cost average. Bro, I
Now,
got some silver
he has
coming in the
spent
mail this Friday.
thousands
Like
and
I'm still
thousands
buying. I
and
still buy
thousands
it.
and
Like I'm
thousands
not.
on it.
It's a long term game, bro.
He will not sell it, and
Yeah,
he's still buying more.
yeah. I could be greedy and sit here and say that oh man, it's time to take profits, but I'm not playing that game. I'm playing the long term wealth
Long
game, right?
term.
Even if I hold on to it, it's just a storehouse of value to where
Exactly.
10 years from now, 20 years from now, if it goes up even more, which we know it will, because all assets, especially if they have some utility or a
Right.
use case, industrial use case, or there's some utility to it, and it's a growing asset, it'll continue to rise in price and in value. If I created Apple and Apple's valuation went up to $1 trillion market cap, just because it hit $1 trillion market cap, I'm not gonna sell Apple the company, me as the owner and the creator. I'm not going to sell it because it went up in value. That was the purpose that I bought it or created it, was so it could go up and my net worth could go up with it, right? So of course, I'm holding it, man, and that's only because I know it's got room to grow. And of course, this is for silver because it has a very high industrial use case, whether it's aerospace, whether it's EVs, whether it's batteries, whether it's electronics,
Components and computers,
and things of that nature.
chargers,
Solar,
like
it has
everything.
a very high use case and industrial use case. It can only go up. So here's my theory is, because one, Bitcoin and precious metals, well, precious metals is God's money, right? It comes from the earth and it is a finite supply. They can mine as much as they like, but you can't create any more of it. I like Bitcoin, which I do invest in now, dollar cost averaging in
I
Bitcoin.
know. Once you understand the metrics, it's kind of cool, isn't it?
Yes,
I
that's why I
remember. I
like it,
remember we had a
because it scares
conversation a
me.
while back, and that was when I had just learned about it, and you were still kind of in the phase that I had been in previously, to where it was like, yeah, I just don't really, you know what I'm saying, it ain't my thing. Because I used to be traditional finance guy all the way. It was stocks and bonds and options and that, I don't know nothing about that crypto. But when I actually started paying attention, shout out to Walt Knows Money, actually. He's the one that got me on that. I started paying attention, and I learned the metrics of how it was and how it was built and designed finitely, and to increase the rarity and scarcity. It was like, man, this is basically like digital gold.
Yes, and that's what it's akin to. Is people call it digital gold, but that's what I don't invest in crypto. I invest in Bitcoin because it is a finite amount of it, because it doesn't get diluted, because it is a currency that can be exchanged. I wouldn't put all my eggs in it only because, it takes drastic leaps and drops on the regular, and that's fine. I don't care. I've
That's
seen
what
it
I love
evolve
about
for enough
crypto.
years, and I understand it fundamentally enough now to where, okay, this is a good asset that you can get into and you can invest into over time, it'll be a great hedge against inflation. And of course, like you said, since it is a finite amount, it's essentially digital gold. And it's a great way to diversify the portfolio if you understand what you're doing. So now, since it's with currently we're in the crypto winter, which happens about every year, I decided to get in. Now our dollar cost average into that. My dollar cost average in silver currently. I don't care if it goes up, don't care if it goes down. I'm going to be a buyer. The only thing I'm not buying at a high is equities, stocks, right? I'm not buying them high at
Right.
all. I don't mind if the price goes up in stocks. I will continue to buy if that happens because a higher price point is not the
Isn't
same
that,
as an
yeah, it's a new
overvalued
low.
company, right? An
Right.
overvalued company means it's too rich to own this stock from a price to book, price to earnings, price to sales standpoint. It's too rich to own that stock, right? You can have a stock that's $300 and be undervalued, and you can have a stock that's $10 and be overvalued. I'm not buying an overvalued asset, so I don't mind if a stock goes up in price because that's what it's supposed to do.
Right, it's what you
Yesterday's
want.
price is today's price, and as long as the business is growing fundamentally and the earnings are growing in step with the stock's price, I will continue to buy
Right.
and look at that stock. So the only thing I'm not buying at the high is going to be stocks on mine. I'm not buying overvalued companies, but I will buy a Bitcoin and precious metals, in this case silver, no matter what the price is.
Right. Right. So silver and gold for sure. Precious metals is like you should do some kind of a scheduled, consistent buy, even if it's $2, $3, $5.
Yeah.
Like if you just took $5 to $10 every week and consistently purchase gold and silver, you're gonna end up better than you would just holding on to all of your cash and not spending it, because there's a thing in the financial world called depreciation.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And nothing depreciates faster than the dollar bill. I mean, the United States Treasury's got the worst credit score in history, bro. It like I heard you actually posted a reel the other day. That's what you were talking about. It's like you can't save your way to success. No. You cannot save your way to a millionaire. Matter of fact, if you saved $1 million and just held on to it and didn't spend a single penny, and you waited 10 years, you would still have $1 million in cash, but the buying power of that $1 million would be half.
Mm-hmm.
You don't save cash, guys.
You
invest cash. You have to build an interest rate. You have got to get some type of return on that money. That's the only way you stop working. That's the only way. You have to make your money work for you. And this is coming from someone that worked his ass off doing whatever I had to do, right? But I made my mind up that I was going to get to a point to where I didn't have to literally leave and give someone else all of my time, to where if I still work my ass off. I still wake up every single morning without an alarm clock before the sun comes up and punch the clock. But I do it for myself, or I do it for people in my network, or I do it for other entrepreneurs. But basically, if I'm spending my time doing something, it's something I want to do now. And that's beautiful. And I'm basically just like a stay-at-home dad that is like a entrepreneur now. And, you know,
just do dope shit.
Yeah, it's amazing. But I had to bust my ass to get there. You know what I'm saying? And like he said, you know, I mean, you got to find time. Like those, you got to sleep, you got to eat. You know what I'm saying? Well, you don't really have to eat like you guys think you do. And let's touch back on that for. I know this to be true. I got my certifications in personal training, nutrition, when I got out of prison and everything, and just got into this whole. I mean, I just got health crazy. That's directly responsible for all of my success in other avenues of life. If I hadn't got healthy and started eating right and exercising and got my body and my mind, you know, fluid and operating the right way, I never would have learned any of this. I don't think I would have had the interest, you know. Mm-hmm. Like, you know, you decalcify that pineal gland, man.
There you go.
Start thinking some whole shit that you just ain't never thought about before. You start like brainstorming, and then you know what you do is you stop cutting those brainstorming sessions off. That's what we do. We get so programmed, right? It's like, wow, I gotta go to work, I gotta do this, I gotta do that. And then when you get off, you gotta drink that beer and you gotta watch that sports game, and you gotta, you know what I'm saying? It's like everything's so scheduled. We gotta watch this TV show. You know, my buddy's dad watches the news every time it comes on, and I like the news comes on like 5, 6, 7 different times a day, but he has to watch every little scheduled news, and I'm like, it's just part of his thing, you know. But he's like so conditioned that he's one of those rare cases that like he's just that way. We've tried. Me and his son are both
programming,
like,
bro.
yeah,
Programming.
He's just given up, and he's in that state, and that's just what it is. It's
living
sad.
in the matrix, bro.
Yeah.
That's what it is, man. And it's a mental illness.
It is a mental illness, but it's caused by the food and the healthcare system. I haven't been to a doctor since 1998. That's facts, other than, you know what I'm saying, like to visit somebody. But me personally, I don't go to the doctor. I don't go to the hospital. I don't take medication. I don't have headaches. You know what I mean? I rarely get sick at all. You know why? Because my gut biome is correct. Your whole immune system starts in the gut biome.
Bro, illness starts with either it starts in the mind or it starts
dis-ease.
It starts in the mind of the gut, bro. It's dis-ease.
It's dis-easement of the cells, and they mutate.
Physically, you're at ease, and you're able to feel energy and create to a different degree, bro. A lot of people don't understand that, bro. You have literally so much that goes, and they don't understand the human body.
Yeah, they don't understand the body or the mind. They don't even know the things that they're doing. Like, they don't realize what's happening when they're scrolling on Facebook. The people that are watching this podcast right now, they don't even understand what's happening chemically in the brain. You know, like you're scrolling through stuff that gets you excited and releasing dopamine, and that's why you get happy. It's the exact same thing that is released and attached to the opiate receptors in the brain when someone does heroin or, you know, some other type of a drug. Like, it literally is chemicals released that attach to the receptors in the brain that give you a sensation. When you work out, your brain releases a molecule that almost identically mimics the THC molecule. So that's why everybody that works out feels real good.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's literally releasing chemicals in the brain. So, we talked about fasting. This is a fact. After 24 hours of fasting, your body starts to eat all of the bullshit, all the waste, all the cells, all the mutated shit, all everything that didn't fucking copy correctly, that didn't, you know,
it heals itself.
Yes, everything that didn't regenerate properly and do what it was supposed to do, your body goes and eats that shit up.
Human body is fascinating too. The mind
it gets rid of everything that would make you sick, that would cause cancer, that would develop into chronic disease. First of all, chronic disease, that's bullshit. Chronic disease is just you doing dumb shit for so long that you develop it. That's all chronic disease.
A lot of that stuff is just inflammation in certain areas of your body from the things you put inside it. Yes. And if you limit the things that you put in, especially when they're bad, you will essentially reduce all of this. A lot of these problems that we have, bro, can be solved right now.
Yes.
You know this. A lot of the problems we have can be solved literally with, not just by way of fasting. That's amazing. That's a
fasting is so important.
What you put into your body. If you put the right foods into your body, now you're actually giving your body, it's called life energy.
Yes.
You can stay in life at a higher capacity. And then, of course, after that, when you combine that, couple it with fasting, now you're able to get rid of all the bad things, because a lot of people have about 7 pounds of waste in their body.
In their bodies.
Figure that out. And then, of course, you know, you'll see that, you know, you spend more time hydrating. You'll see your skin begin to clear and glow. It's what people,
it will. It will glow. It will be smooth. Your hair will grow back. If you, I used to be balding, real shit, man.
Yeah.
Like bad, and it like grew back, everything. Like you, well, I mean, I'm 40. I'm 40 years old, and nobody believes me. I got 6 kids. Right, one of them's literally 21. I got a son that's like as big as me that could go to the bar. And everybody that I went to school with looks old, man. It's crazy. It's like I'll see them and I'll be like, what? I'll be like, oh my God. Like, how old are you? Like, I thought we were in the same grade.
I'm in the best shape of my life, man.
I know. It's crazy. I'm in amazing shape. I can do muscle ups. I can roundhouse kick people in the face and do backflips.
I've never tried a muscle up, but I am ready to take it to that level.
I made it my goal. And I killed myself forever doing a bunch of shit that I didn't even have to do. But I mean, I guess maybe I did. You get the form down, and it makes it a lot easier. But you still got to have some amazing upper
I
body
can still
strength.
pull ups like crazy.
Yeah.
That's nothing.
What I started doing is I would hang kettlebells around my waist, and every single pull up and every single dip that I did, I had either 30, 40, 60 pounds hanging from my waist. And I just did that over and over and over and over. And then I learned that all you really need to do is when you get to the top, right when you get your chin over the bar, you're just going to take your elbows and tuck them back. See, that right there, that one little thing while you bring the knees up gives you that little tiny push to get your chest over the bar. That's once you get over the bar, as long as you can do a dip, you got a muscle up.
Yeah,
but the hardest fucking part is getting from here, right here, to that. It is hard as hell, dude. And you got to be strong. I make it sound like it's easy. It's not fucking easy at all. I had to work hard, but it's so worth it. You got to do it, man. It's so worth it.
They say hard work pays off.
Yeah,
bro. I don't have.
And nobody believes that you're about to do a muscle up when you go. Like I go to the park.
I got one of the pull-up bars where it hangs on the door, so I'm not able to get up there like this. But oh man, that's on my list of things.
I gotta do the park. I gotta go to the park to do it. So every time I go to take the kids to the park, I know it's muscle up.
Oh, like monkey bars and stuff.
Yeah, well they got two parks right close to here that have like a whole little workout area. They got like monkey bars, but they got dip bars, pull up bars.
That's cool.
They got little box jump stands and everything. Yeah, it's cool as hell, really. Like so, that's where every time I take the kids to the park, I gotta go over there and hit some muscle ups. I didn't even know that I could do them. Like I said, I was hanging those kettlebells from my waist and just kept drilling at it, you know. And I would try and never get one. And I'd get like almost, and then I was, you know what I'm saying. And I just kept working, and then like it's probably about 2 or 3 weeks we went without going to the park, and then we went to the park that one day, and I just went over there and just right over it like it wasn't nothing. And I was like, ain't no damn way. I've been working for like 6 months to try and do these muscle ups, and I would try my hardest and never could even barely, and then fall. And I just walked up to the bar, grabbed it, and just threw myself right over it, dude. It was just like, man, it was so worth it. It was a beautiful feeling. That's another thing, man. When you delay that instant gratification and you work hard at something, you don't want that participation trophy shit no more.
Right.
I don't want no handout, bro. Hell no, bro. If I didn't get up and go do something, I don't want your trophy.
Well, you don't want nothing that you didn't work for. And
that's man, it ain't worth shit.
Everyone
and I'm not gonna care about
a result that they didn't earn. Whether it be money in their bank account, whether it be a body that they had surgery to get and didn't work for, whether it be long flowing hair, no matter what, because honestly, bro, it's a lot of natural ways that you can get the things you want. If you want a nice body, you can work out, you can eat right, and you can obtain a certain physique that you like, right? Or if you want a certain bank account, you can have certain financial disciplines and certain habits that will allow you to be able to see over time. It won't happen overnight. It can be 3 months, it can be 6 months, it can be a year. You can see your financial bank account transform over time. But everyone wants a result tomorrow that they didn't earn today. So instead of putting that time in delaying gratification, they want that instant gratification. Oh, I want it right now. Boom, let me go get. I
gotta go get this right now. I gotta have the shoes right now. And it's like, man, you could have took that money, you could have invested it, just chill for a couple weeks, went and bought those shoes, and still kept that money in an investment, turning more profit. But you just had to go buy them shoes.
I think, bro, my biggest problem is, and it's not even a problem, is I would rather invest instead of getting things. You know what I'm saying? Like, I would rather put money up instead of getting things, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's my biggest, like, that's not even it's not even a downside or a problem.
No, but it's my problem too, honestly. It's crazy that you said that, because for the first time in my life, I actually almost like have money issues, but it's not money issues, it's just like liquidity issues, because if I have any extra cash. Like, and sometimes that budget will be so fucking tight, man, that it's like, you know what I'm saying? I got it to a T. Like, it's
Bro, you
everything's
don't need that
done
much money to live,
because
man.
I don't care. I don't need shit. Like, I really don't need all that. Like, so
Bro,
every extra
after,
penny I have goes into an investment. And
yeah,
anybody that knows me knows that I can't stand working hard to get this investment, building some money, generating some income, and then take it out. What? Hell no, I don't want to take it out. No, what do you mean? No, that was the whole point in putting it together. Like, I
yeah.
can't stand it. So
You
I'm
gotta be
with
able
you
to
on
work
that.
for it,
That's
bro.
my
It
biggest problem
compounds.
too, bro.
When I
Like,
when I get any funds, it don't matter where it comes from. It can come from me buying and selling stuff. It can come from my paycheck. I don't care where it comes from. Basically, I'm investing a percentage. I'm saving a percentage. I'm always in a state of giving in an abundant
yeah, I know,
fashion.
dude. That
And then, of course, I pay my bills and I live on the rest. So even if I have a surplus, at the very least, I'll move most of it to my high yield savings. I can give me $200. I can promise you, I can make it through the week, and
yeah.
until I get some more money. You don't need that much money to live. A lot of people they live way above their means. Now, don't get me wrong, you can increase your means, or you can, earn more money. But the extra money that I earn, I put it towards more investments or
Right.
more savings and things like that. And of course, my savings is in an account that's earning for me, but my biggest thing is making sure that I want to have a surplus. See, I'm one of the people where I want to be rich for real. I don't want to look rich.
Yeah, yeah,
I don't need to
exactly.
buy things, shoes, clothes, different things that give me status symbols. I want to actually be rich for real. So I buy assets. You know what I'm saying? I invest. I put money into a saving. It gives you that peace of mind. So you're not in survival mode. You're able to actually sit and think and
Yes.
create and build momentum and build
Yes.
energy towards the financial future that you like. So
Imagine,
I'm a
yeah,
minimalist,
imagine if he had
bro.
a week. Could you imagine? I mean, me and you do, obviously, but like you guys that like struggle financially. If you had an entire week to where you didn't have to worry about bills, you didn't have to worry about car payment, rent. Like you had a whole week to where you could just sit back and chill. That's what you can do with just a couple of smart investments, a little bit of patience, and some smart investing. That's it. That's all you can literally get yourself to a surplus, and once you're in a surplus, you really all that anxiety goes away, man.
Hmm.
Or really, once you realize that you're capable of generating whatever you need or surviving without all the shit you think you need, then it goes away. And then you can actually start to live and enjoy your life and do the things that you want to do. And then, like, I think it's just money's a byproduct.
Oh, it is. Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
I don't think anybody that actually is successful or wealthy is out there just chasing money or chasing
Yeah.
the bag. It, as a matter of fact, all the people that are doing that, they might run a bag up, but they ain't never gonna keep it.
Hmm.
I know that because I used to do the same thing. I'd chase the money. I was one of those, like you said, you can either limit what you think you need to feel happy, and I relate happiness and wealth is basically kind of like, no, not happiness, because happiness is something people need to watch out for too.
Yeah.
Because happiness is a temporary, momentary sensation or feeling,
Yep.
and it is based on happenings. Think about
Yep.
it. Happiness is completely subject to happenings.
It's
So all that
external.
has to
It's externally
happen.
driven. Where contentment is just within, right? If
Yes.
you're content with, like me, I'm content with not having to have things. Because I tell my kids this all the time. People that always have to have something will ultimately never have anything,
Exactly.
right? And if you buy things you don't need, eventually you'll end up selling things that you do need, right?
Yeah.
So I don't. It's
Ooh,
not
damn,
a.
that's a good one.
I'm content, bro. I'm content with being frugal because I want to build wealth, right? So any extra money I get is no lifestyle inflation. It's investing in the savings inflation. I put more into those areas to get me more to my goals faster. I'm not
Yes.
trying to get more liabilities or get into debt more based on my current lifestyle.
Right.
I want to get to where I want to go faster, and I want to supercharge my investments. That's why I'm currently working two jobs. My other job is paying off my car, and it's fueling my investments, as well as I'm, paying my bills, my regular money that I had going on because I was already doing things regularly. Now I'm just supercharging what I already have. right? Because I don't need to go get a new pair of shoes all the time. I don't need to go get a new, pair of pants, shirts, clothes, whatever, all the time. Jerry, I don't need to go do that. That's not my priority. My priority is, hey, how can we get rich? I'm trying to do it in so I say it's a marathon, but at a sprinter's pace. I'm running a marathon, but I am sprinting, but I'm not concerned with how fast it happens. Right? I want it to happen as quickly as it can. Not saying next week, but how can I make this happen in 20 years instead of 30? Can I cut it down to 15? Things like that, right? In certain habits and mindset, it's a mindset and a temperament thing. If you can delay gratification, which is all that is, investing is just delayed gratification. Because you can take that, like you said, you can take that same money that you could buy that pair of shoes with, and you can put it into an investment account and let it compound and appreciate in value. And then, of course, save up for that liability, right? It's assets versus liabilities. People don't understand assets, liabilities, incomes, and outflows, right? It's a thing. And once you get that down pat, once you understand the difference between those, then you can essentially ensure financial stability.
Yeah, and I like when you were naming off like how you would spend your money, your budget. Probably I don't know if you guys caught it or not, but he said investments first. All of these other things, and then
the
stuff, then the bills, then pay yourself first.
Yeah, for sure.
Always pay yourself first. You know what I'm saying? Because ain't nobody else gonna give a damn about paying you.
That's right.
Them bills, they gonna come again next month. Right? They gonna be there next month again, right? You gonna get to pay them then. You gonna get to pay them next month too, and the month after that, they gonna never stop. So, you know what I'm saying? You ain't got that much time. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you got to get some shit together and get your life together. Otherwise, them bills is gonna pile up. But pay yourself first, man, for real. And don't try to get in the habit of not having a bunch of money sitting around or things sitting around. Like if you're buying something, buy something that's gonna make you money. Right? That's the difference between an asset and a liability. A liability is something that you're gonna have to pay for, or that is somehow you're somehow tied to an obligation to this thing. Right? That is a liability. You want as little liability as possible, and you want as many things that are going to make money as you can. Right? So, like, it's that easy. It's that easy.
Minimize liabilities, maximizing the assets. That's that easy.
And there's tricks and trades.
You're funding your retirement and your future self comfort in life. If you want to be comfortable, don't choose comfort now.
Right.
Delay comfort and gratification now so you can get it in your later years, so you're not working until you're 70, waiting on the government to ensure that you'll be able to get checks every month when you retire. You can be your retirement plan. You can be your 401k plan if you have the right mindset and the right habits.
People, for some reason, do not understand that when I'm trying to explain it. They think that we're crazy for spending all of our time working and investing, and like you said, you got 2 jobs and this and that. I never stop. I've always got shit going on, and everybody thinks that you spend all your time working and all that. And I said, well, let's really think about this. Am I really spending all my time working? Right? Because I'm gonna bust my ass for 3 to 5 years, run up enough money and do smart investments to never work again. Right? So 3 or 5 years, I spent all of my time working, planning, prepping, building for the future. You got me. But you're going to work for the next 75 years, 40 hours, 50 hours a week, every week, day in and day out, until you're too old and disabled to do it anymore. And then you're going to retire with nothing. And you're going to literally spend all of your time sitting in a recliner, taking prescription medication. Who really
don't end up like that?
Like, don't do that.
Don't end up like that.
I mean, come on, 5 years versus the rest of your life. And that's the thing, leverage and compounding.
Change in a year, man. It's all it takes.
You know what is Parkinson's law? That's what you got to get familiar with. Parkinson's law. Parkinson's law says that the workload will expand or retract to suit the time frame. Right? That's all the successful people are using. But they're doing it in the reverse. Like, okay, we've got a year's worth of work that we've got ahead of us, right? I'm gonna fucking try to find a way to cut this whole year worth of work down to 4 months. Right? The workload will expand or retract to meet the time frame. It's just like when we were kids, we had a test. We knew this test was coming 6 weeks from now, right? But I ain't studying for that damn test till the last 2 days, maybe the night before. Like, I'm gonna cram some studying in the night before, take that test, and you know what I'm saying? I had a whole 6 weeks, but it wasn't 6 weeks worth of work.
Mm-hmm.
So I could take that 6 weeks worth of time and work and mash that shit into one day, right? That's Parkinson's law, and you can use that. It's leverage. Take the things you have. First of all, I don't want to hear that bullshit. You ain't got enough time, right? I literally have 6 kids, and I never have time for anything. If I do have time, like one of them kids is gonna take that shit up. They're gonna eat it up.
That makes
I was at the
you
park
got a few things
yesterday with 5 kids and a newborn baby. Guess what I was doing? Working out. Guess what happened? Somebody saw me from the gas station, looked down, saw me working out. They stopped doing what they was doing. They come down there and started working out. Then we ended up getting a whole website development session in. We went over some logos and some design work. It was beautiful. It was a beautiful thing. All this with 5 kids and a baby. So I don't like this crazy, man. You got time. You just need to manage it a little better.
Hey man, you hit the nail on the head. I wanna, cause I actually gotta get to editing, finish
Yeah, I
editing
know.
some
We got a
content
lot.
and start posting online for the day. You know, I got certain time windows, but I did want to leave everyone with some parting words, man. Work harder on yourself than you do on your job, right? And what you become is gonna be way better and beneficial to your life than anything else that you possibly can imagine, right? And you have to. The reason why you're not a millionaire, and this is the same for me, is because I'm not the millionaire version of myself yet. Now I am becoming the millionaire version of myself, and I'm working towards it. But I'm actually putting in the work and the action to do it. And you got to ask yourself if you're doing the same thing. Prioritize your health. Prioritize studying. Prioritize your finances and your financial health as well. And then, of course, be the curator of your world, right? Your net worth equals your net worth. So if you're in a room full of people that aren't where you want to be, then you'll always be where you are, right? But if you can elevate yourself, you have to be a value-based person. You have to add value to people. Adding value is simply leaving people in better positions than they were when you first met them, right? A lot of people are subtractors and they're not attractive. They're not adders. They're not adders into equations. So be an adder to any equation that you're in and ask, what can I do for you? Don't just look to get your hand out and get and receive. Look to be a good giver. Give graciously and
Selfishness
receive
is a generosity
willingly.
giver.
You know, be a willing giver and a gracious receiver. And don't think about it, right? You have to think about it. You're not giving, you're trading. And then, of course, you know, the more you learn, the more you earn. And I mean that in the realm of investing and in life, period. But you have to apply what you learn. You can sit here and go through life. You can sleepwalk through life, or you can, you know, dream with your eyes wide open and you can go build with the life that you want. You're a creative being. You have the ability to create and manifest the world that you want. And use your power to do the good in the world that you seek. Be an amazing person, ethical, moral, and do everything in your power to shine your light as bright as you can for everyone that you come into contact with. You can find me at StockMarket J on every platform. And man, peace, love, and happiness. Peace, love, and light to everybody.
Yeah, man. Thank you for coming on and doing this episode, man. It's great. Beautiful. Definitely an inspiration. Like I said, I followed you for a long time. I always tune in. You know, I mean, I know my shit, and I still tune in and listen to what you got to say, just because I know I know you're like me. You never stop, right? And you've always got something useful. Like that, you'll always like throw some shit in there. I'll be like, damn, hold on, damn, I didn't even know that.
And it be simple as hell too, right? And people don't understand, man. It don't gotta be complicated. You don't gotta sound like some guru or some expert or anything like that, man. You can literally like you simplify, right? And whatever you teach, and it should be so simple to where a 8-year-old can understand it. And if you're able to do that, then of course, you know, you actually it's a good chance you know what you're talking about. If you have to sit here and sound like some technical guru at whatever you're doing, then it's a good chance that you're not able to reach as many people as you like because um, what did, Steve Jobs was once quoted as saying that simplicity is the greatest form of sophistication. If you can keep it simple and ensure that other people can understand, because I'm not a slow learner. I catch on quick, but you got to dumb it down for me. And this is someone who you know, digest a lot of information a lot. And like I said, I'm studying freaking, like I said, time, space,
Man, that hey,
and gravity right now, as well as
I love it.
molecules, atoms, and electrons.
I
So,
love
you
it.
know, this is someone who can retain a lot of information and absorb it, but just give it to me in a way where I understand it. And that's
Make
just
it
one of the,
relatable, right? I
yeah.
think that's why people like us, people like yourself, especially, are so important and needed, right? Because it's one thing to see some, you know, some white dude in a suit up on stage or up on the TV giving out investment advice, right? Like,
Yeah, I like your setup too, bro. It's dope as hell.
hey man, look, really, like people don't even believe me when I tell them like how much actual money. I really got more time and energy and just hard work and networking and things like that invested in this studio than actual money. And honestly, to tell you the truth, this didn't come about as like any type of financial thing at all. I mean, it's turned into that now, but it originally was just a friend of mine was going through some legal trouble, was battling for his property and needed a place to store his stuff so he didn't lose it. And I had a basement full of like trash, and it was like flooded, and the lighting, electricity shit didn't work. It was like in bad shape. But I just cleaned it out so he didn't lose all of his stuff. And he happened to have like a few, you know, music related items, and then I had like some of my old studio stuff that was under the bed for like 10 or 15 years. And that's how this whole thing started. And then other people just kind of started donating and like contributing, and you know, we would go and like do a podcast, or we would go and like talk to a local business or do some charity work or something, and then like, you know, the next thing you know, well, as a matter of fact, this mixer that I've got right now, it was donated by a church along with a jumbotron scoreboard. So we have like a basketball or a football scoreboard, like remote controlled, and we're about to go around to all the rec leagues around and just offer it up for free. Like we'll bring it to wherever you guys want to hold the event or the game. We'll run it and set it up and everything absolutely free, just to help some of these underfunded youth programs, you know.
It's awesome, bro.
Yeah, it's awesome. It's amazing what happens when you actually just kind of have good intentions and you don't bullshit people, man. That's all I do. All I do is I follow my spirit. I do what I say I'm doing, and shit just works. Shit just works out, and I believe in myself. You know what I mean? I know that I'm divinely protected, and I know that I'm capable of anything I want. You know, if I don't make sure of it, God will. You know, and nothing can stop me because of that. And everybody, like when you were walking with purpose, honest about your intention, and doing what you say, and attracting that like frequency, man, I don't worry about stuff. Like I'm almost to the point to where I just don't worry about anything, because every time I'll start to worry about something, I might worry about it, and then when it gets time, it's like it'll just happen.
Yeah.
You gotta just place it right there at the right time, right when I need. And I've started to realize, man, I just killed myself with anxiety for 3 days, and it worked out just fine. Like I'm just letting God handle it and following the spirit and just trying to help as many people as I can, man.
There you go.
I feel like I'm maybe atoning for some of the damage I caused as a youth, and trying to give maybe somebody like me, just another role model to look at. Because if I would have had somebody doing this type of stuff that looked like me and you, that was telling me, hey man, you don't have to go get shot over that bag, bro. You can literally take that same money and come place it right here, or at least take that dumb money that you hustling in them. Every block boy, man, should at least be putting it in a savings account, a high yield savings account, right? It just don't make no sense not to. You take $1,000, you turn it into $1,000 plus 5%.
There you go.
Right? Plus 5%. You made 1,000 into 1,000 plus 50, right? And now that 5% is going to be 1,050. 5% of that. That's a compound. That's how compound works. That's why we don't pull out of investments, right? That's why we set it and let it ride, and we just don't worry about it until we just absolutely need it.
And automate it, man.
Hey, have a good one, man. Thank you for coming on, man. I'm gonna send you the recordings and the transcript and everything, man. This was amazing. Thanks for your story. Thanks for your inspiration.
Till next time, invest the family. Peace.
Y'all have a good